Former Secretary of State, Fox News contributor Mike Pompeo. Pleased to have him in studio today, sir, and thank you for coming back here. Here is something that Zelensky put on the table in the last 24 hours about how he sees a possibility for peace, his suggestion.
If it's about peace in Ukraine and you really want me to leave my position, I am ready to do that. Secondly, I can exchange it for NATO if there is such an opportunity. I'll do it immediately without a long conversation about it.
Well, I don't think NATO is going to be on the table based on what we're hearing. Can you just give our audience a sense of what's happening? U.S. and Russian officials meet in Saudi Arabia. The Europeans, the Ukrainians are not involved in that. And, you know, the U.S. president calls Zelensky a dictator and says, you started the war, and on and on and on it goes. Then over the weekend, we're told about a rare earth minerals deal. All this, I guess, is part of the negotiation. I don't know if it concludes in a month or a year. But help us understand what's happening as you see it behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think this is really pretty transparent in one sense. Each of the parties of interest, and I think that the United States has deep interest here as well. To deter Vladimir Putin is an important outcome for the United States of America. They're searching for what's everybody else's red line. How far can they be pushed? What can they get? How can they get an outcome that gets the peace that everybody wants, maybe except for Vladimir Putin? There's no evidence yet that he's actually looking for peace. But to find a solution that delivers on all that has been sacrificed so much, right? The thousands of Ukrainian lives that President Trump was referring to, including many tens of thousands of civilian lives. And trying to figure out what are the economic outcomes, what are the security parameters, what does a post-war sanctions regime look like that can deliver a model where we don't have to worry about this happening for another pick a time period, 10 years, 25 years. That for the United States has to be the primary objective. How do you make sure that this is not perceived as a win for Vladimir Putin and we get a security outcome, an architecture, whether it's inside of NATO or outside of NATO, a security architecture that deters Vladimir Putin for an extended period of time, or, for that matter, his successor.
No matter what, it seems how this ends will make the Europeans have to step up a little bit more. But I'm wondering what you think about the rare earths and the minerals agreement as part of this, because in some ways that gets America even more tied in.
Undoubtedly it does. Look, these will be private sector investments that will be made into these rare earth mines. There's huge cost for the extraction is not an easy solution. But I think if you get U.S. private companies that feel like there's a security situation that permits them to go in and they now have capital at risk there, I think that's a good thing, not just for Ukraine and for Europe, but for the United States of America as well. I think it'd be a good outcome if we can get that.
I guess in a word, do you see this winding down? You see that as a possibility?
I do. I think it's a real possibility. I think President Trump being the ringmaster for this multifaceted negotiation that's taking place, the leader who can actually impose that deterrence that we had for 4 years, Bill, I think it gives us a real shot at getting this to wind down. It may take many more months to get there, but I'm hopeful that it can be achieved. And Dana, to your point, the Europeans have to step up. This is a 35, 40-year-long problem where they have failed to do what they needed.
Emmanuel Macron was just leaving the White House. I was quickly there on your screen. He was in there for a couple of hours. I mean, I imagine that this was also one of the things that Trump had said to him, which is, you guys want to get peace? Like, so I'm here to help you, but help me help you.
Having been in those meetings, I'm very confident that that was communicated with utter clarity.
So let's put that to the side and talk about the Middle East. The exchange of hostages has been, for many, downright disgusting. And Israel now wants to put an end to this. And they have frozen the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners who were part of this deal. You know, the Israelis agreed to it, and they put it on pause until Hamas accepts the fact that they cannot defame the people they have held hostage for more than a year. Who makes the next move? Do you see this as being an issue?
Seems pretty damn reasonable to me for the Israelis to do that, to watch what took place with that handover, to watch the young children in Gaza cheering the handover of these prisoners, to watch them put someone out there and make them, watch their fellow prisoners move across. I mean, this is just disgusting and heartbreaking at levels that it's hard for anybody to watch. So I think the Israelis are reasonable to demand that if there are further hostage handovers, that they be conducted in a way that is just fundamentally decent and break the ceasefire agreement. I'm confident Hamas has broken it too, so that they can achieve just that simple human requirement. seems pretty reasonable. I hope that the ceasefire will stay in place, but in the end, though, the most important thing is you can see this. No Hamas warrior can be anywhere near any governing authority in that place ever again. The Israelis can't withstand it. The United States shouldn't permit it, and the Gulf Arab states certainly don't want that either.
And all of these topics and more possible topics for lectures as you join Columbia University you'll teach diplomacy at the Institute of Global Politics. I imagine that anyone thinking of interrupting your class with this kind of nonsense would probably not be welcome.
Yeah, I think that's right. We know that's right. As good conservatives, we're all about peaceful protests, lots of voices, good exchange of ideas, but it's about ideas. And that's what I hope to go up to Columbia and get a chance to do, is to share my vision and my ideas and my practitioner's view of how this all really works, the nuts and bolts of it, like you saw when you were the spokesperson.
Well, they are fortunate to have you.
Thanks for being on our program. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you, Bill.
You're in for an interesting ride.
Keep us posted.
I'm looking forward to it.
Not the last one.
It'll be good. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.
And you'll want to be